Steam's tagline is that you will own nothing and be free. Lord Gaben said that at some point probably. Now, you know Valve could breathe and the whole world will collectively cheer like at the end of Return of the Jedi. Absolute pandemonium screaming at the top of our lungs about the latest Steam discount. You know, I think at this point, Gabe Newell would be a better president than 100% of the people in your government. I mean, am I wrong? Think about all the schlop politicians you have running the show where you live. Here's a bulletin. Every single person in your country's government is completely corrupt and pathetic. Anyway, listen, hit the like button and subscribe, baby. I promise you this isn't a Steam fanboys channel, but we have to give credit to companies who fight back against anti-consumer practices. So let's get to 90,000 subs. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. We're gonna start live streaming on this channel very soon. So make sure if you want to be a moderator to hit me on Twitter and let me know. Now, it looks like Steam's April Fool's joke for this month was to make all of their competition look even more of a joke. Because meanwhile, over at Epic Games, Tim Sweeney just laid off another 1,000 people, including a cancer patient. Isn't that nice? Now, this whole thing I'm about to get into smells like Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Burns over there hiring lawyers to try and screw Valve without doing it directly. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if the activist who's running this lawsuit is receiving financial incentive from groups like Epic to try and push this lawsuit. Now, some of you already know that Valve is currently embroiled in a 656 lawsuit in the UK over alleged unfair prices on its global online store, which is hilarious. Because if Valve is accused of overpricing games, and console games are just highway robbery, I guess Sony should start emptying their pockets for these stupid activist lawyers. See, gamers like us might be dumb, but we're no dumbasses. So we're gonna look forward to when this inevitably flops. Anyway, listen to me. The UK is single-handedly being the dumbest country on the planet. With the age verification bollocks, and now this too, the British government is like, oh, you have rights? Well, guess what? Not on my watch anymore, you don't. Anyway, there's an update to this story that I'm going to get to that I completely missed this month. But here's some context in case you don't know. There was a legal action that was brought upon the digital rights campaigner Vicki Shotbolt in 2024 on behalf of 14 million Steam users in the UK, who could be in line of compensation if she wins. It's always about the money, it's never about the public good. This lady speaking on behalf of 14 million people on Steam, that is just crazy. You don't speak for anybody, lady. Who the is this Vicki person? I mean, maybe we can sue her for organizing the class action lawsuit for opting us in without consent. Anyway, let's read the rest of this. In case what is known as a collective action lawsuit, which means that one person goes to court on behalf of a much larger group. Think about how insane that sounds. Yeah, you right now, you who uses Steam, you have to opt out of this, even though they had your permission without your knowledge to opt in the first place. I mean, isn't it funny how you have to opt out of unwillingly being used to push somebody else's agenda, but when there's something that the state or government says that you as the individual may be eligible for money or reimbursement, you have a deadline to opt in. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Anyway, in this instance, it has been brought upon behalf of 14 million people in the United Kingdom. Oh, look, that's where I live. Who bought games or additional content through Steam or other platforms since 2018. Having to opt out of partaking in a lawsuit that you have no knowledge of should be illegal. This thing just stinks to high heaven. The whole thing is just absurd. Imagine suing Steam for being customer friendly. Yeah, you definitely picked the wrong company. The whole basis of their argument, by the way, is if you buy a game on Steam, you can't buy the DLC for it on other platforms. How dumb can you be? Because I want you to think about how stupid that sounds. Isn't that how every other platform works? If I buy, I don't know, DLC for GTA on Steam, I won't be able to play that same DLC on PlayStation. That's pretty much custom for how it works. So basically, we have a group of boomers here who don't understand how the gaming industry works, suing the gaming industry. Isn't that just a waste of everybody's time? They literally said Steam is taking advantage of PC gamers, really? What a truly bizarre thing to say. Yes, Steam is taking advantage of players by outrageous deals with 90% off games. Oh my god, so shocking. The thing is, Steam allows competition, you dummies. It's not Steam's fault. The Epic Games continually steps on rakes. They can't do anything about the competition shooting themselves in the foot, you stupid dummies. But the thing is, this lawsuit, guys, is on behalf of the corporate competition competitors. Not the gamers, not the developers. It's a bogus lawsuit and would be shut down in any just world. And it will be shut down by Steam's lawyers since it's pretty much based on false information. But I want to say something right here. Steam's quote monopoly hasn't come from immoral actions. It's actually the opposite. It's come from all the other immoral actions from other competitors like PlayStation, Microsoft, and Epic Games. The only thing Steam does is reward the gamers, reward the customers. They treat players and gamers like normal people who have families, who don't have outrageous money to spend on video games. If you can't compete with that, Epic Games, that's a you problem. What do you want them to do? I don't know. Do you want them to offer a worse service so that you can sell copies? You want them to start charging more for games? That's not how business works, Epic. Either start competing and treating gamers like normal people or get the out. It's really that simple. Anyway, here's the update, ladies and gents. The latest update comes after the granting of collective proceedings order on March 11, 2026. The order formally allows the claim to proceed on an opt-out basis. What this means is that eligible users, which are just anybody who's logged into Steam in the UK, are automatically part of the case unless they choose to leave it. That is crazy. A dedicated opt-out process is now live. Users who do not wish to be included must submit a request by June 11, 2026. This can be done through an online form, email, or post and requires basic details such as name and address. If no action is taken, users will be part of the claim by default. However, opting out removes any eligibility for compensation should the case succeed. You think people care about the money when they don't even give a damn about your stupid lawsuit? Nobody asked for compensation. We just want you to shut the hell up. The FAQ also states that participants do not face financial risk if the claim is unsuccessful. The lawsuit itself is not new. It was the first filed in June 2024 and approved to proceed as collective action in January 2026. We're almost done reading here, folks. Anyway, discussion around the update has already started heating up in online forums. Especially on Steam, users have started sharing opt-out links and clarifying eligibility requirements. Yeah, I'm sure 14 million people in the UK who use Steam are just gonna go on that website and opt out. Much of the conversation is based on who needs to take action and what information needs to be submitted. You can follow the discussion via the post embedded below. Anyway, listen, the bottom line is that the idea of a lawsuit that doesn't ask the people represented what they think and uses them to inflate their numbers is genuinely a bad system and a complete scam. I mean, the whole thing is a scam. The idea that you would claim that Valve is driving up the prices for consumers and developers. Meanwhile, you have other platforms and publishers and distributors who are constantly attempting to push their prices to $80, $90, and even $100, and you're choosing to spend your time on Steam and Valve? I mean, hell, PlayStation still continues to raise PS Plus. It seems like every single year, leaving people with no choice but to get destroyed if they still want to continue playing for online. Look, the reality of the situation, Steam and Lord Gaben makes them oh so very mad because he proves that you can become ultra rich without destroying the consumer along the way. The reality of the situation, folks, is that people want Steam gone, not because it's rigged. We can all see it's not rigged, because it's the only thing standing between big game companies being able to get away with stupid stuff like overcharging for bundles or stupid things like time played. Is that Steam is not wanting to give governments private user information which they so desperately want. The irony, of course, is that Steam is one of the reasons why piracy isn't even more prevalent. The reason why piracy is so prevalent in the Western culture is because of the abundance of predatory, stupid behaviors on behalf of big companies. Let's quickly talk about Sony for a second. What's funny about Sony raising the price for the PS5 Pro and PS5 is that they want you to spend $900 on an AI upscaler version of the PS5. That's just crazy. And think about how much the PS6 is going to be with the PS5 Pro costing $900. Because think about it, the PS6 is going to have way more advanced hardware and it's going to cost way more to make for Sony. It's probably not going to have way more advanced hardware, but it's going to have better hardware for sure. And then you have Sony coming out and saying, oh my god, people are still on the PS4. Do you really think people are going to get a PS5 Pro now, Sony? What do you expect? People are going to sell their kidneys for the PS6 next? That's just ridiculous. If I had $1,000 to spend for a PS5 Pro, I'll just save another $1,000 and get a good PC. But in my opinion, the era of the affordable console is dead. Between the whole memory RAM disaster that's going on right now, that's destroying budget PC builds, and then you have Sony pulling stuff like this, hiking the PS5 Pro high up in price to a staggering $900, gamers are being squeezed from both ends. And on that bombshell, let me know what you think in the comments. Manix out.